The Wisdom of Solomon, Hakmah, Chapter 1. Love righteousness, you that are rulers of the earth. Think of Yahuwah in goodness, and seek him in integrity of heart. For he is found by those who do not try him, and reveals himself to those who do not distrust him. For perverse thoughts separate from Elohim, and his power, when it is tried, reproves the unwise. For wisdom does not enter into malicious being, nor dwell in the body that is subject to sin. For the Kodesh spirit of discipline flees deceit, and turns away from thoughts that are without understanding, and does not remain when unrighteousness comes in. For wisdom is a loving spirit, but a blasphemer shall not go unpunished for his words. For Elohim is witness of his kidneys, and a true watcher of his heart, and a hearer of his tongue. For the Ruach of Yahuwah fills the world, and that which sustains all knows what is said. Therefore he who speaks unrighteous words is not hidden, nor does vengeance pass him by when it punishes. For a search shall be made into the counsels of the wicked, and the words of his voice shall come to Yahuwah to reveal his wicked deeds. For a jealous ear hears all words, and the sound of grumbling is not hidden. Therefore beware of grumbling, which is useless, and keep your tongue from secrecy. For no secret word is without evil, and a lying mouth destroys the being. Do not seek death in the straying of your life, and do not pull destruction upon yourself with the works of your hands. For Elohim did not make death, nor does he delight in the destruction of the living. For he created all to have their life, and the creations of the world were perfect, and no poison of destruction in them, nor the reign of death upon the earth. For righteousness is immortal, but wicked men with their works and words called it to them. For when they thought to have it their friend, they perished to naught, and made a covenant with it, because they deserved to receive a share in it. Chapter 2. For the wicked, reasoning with themselves, but not rightly said, Our life is short and tedious, and of the death of a man there is no healing. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. For we are all born by chance, and after this we shall be as though we had never been. For the breath of our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in the moving of our heart, which being extinguished, our bodies shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as the soft air. And our names shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall remember our works, and our lives shall pass away as the traces of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist, that is driven away with the rays of the sun, and overcome by its heat. For our time is but a shadow that passes away, and after our end there is no returning, for it is sealed up so that no man comes again. Come therefore, let us enjoy the good that is found, and let us hasten to use the creation as in youth. Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass by us. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they wither. Let none of us go without his part of our luxuries. Let us leave signs of our joy in every place, for this is our portion, and this is our lot. Let us oppress the poor, righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor regard the old gray hairs of the aged. Let our strength be the law of righteousness, for that which is feeble is found to be worthless. Therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, for he is not for our way, and he is clearly opposed to our actions. He reproaches us with our guilt of the law, and to our shame accuses of the sins against our teaching. He professes to have the knowledge of Elohim, and calls himself the child of Yahuwah. He has become a reproof to our thoughts. He is a burden to us to even look at, for his life is not like other men. His ways are a different way. We are regarded by him as false, He abstains from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounces the end of the righteous to be Baruch, and makes his boast that Elohim is his father. Let us see if his words are true, and let us prove what shall befall him in the end. For if the righteous man is the son of Elohim, he shall help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. Let us try him with mocking and torture, so that we may know his humility and prove his patience. Let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own words he shall be favored. Such as these they devised and were deceived, for their own wickedness has blinded them. As for the secrets of Elohim, they did not know them, neither did they expect the wages of righteousness, nor discern a reward for blameless lives. For Elohim created man to be immortal, and made him to be an image of his own immortality. Nevertheless, death came into the world through envy of the devil, and those who hold to his side find it. Chapter 3. But the beings of the righteous are in the hand of Elohim, and no torture shall touch them. In the eyes of the unwise they seem to die, and their departure is taken for misery, and their going from us to be utter destruction, but they are at shalom. For though they are punished in the eyes of men, yet their expectancy is full of immortality. And having been discipled a little, they shall be rewarded greatly. For Elohim proved them and found them worthy for himself. He has tried them as gold in the furnace, and received them as a burnt offering. And in the time of their visitation they shall shine, and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. They shall judge the nations and reign over the people, and their Adon shall reign forever. Those that put their trust in him shall understand the truth, and those who are trustworthy in love shall abide with him. For favor and kindness is upon his Kodashim, and he looks after his elect. But the wicked shall be punished according to their own schemes, who have neglected the righteous and forsaken Yahuwah. For whoever despises wisdom and instruction is miserable, and their expectancy is vain, their labors unfruitful, and their works unprofitable. Their wives are foolish, and their children wicked. Their offspring are cursed. Therefore Baruch is the barren one who is undefiled, who has not known the sinful bed. She shall bear fruit in the visitation of lives. And Baruch is the eunuch who has done no evil with his hands, nor devised wickedness against Elohim. For unto him shall be given the special gift of belief, and an inheritance more desired, by his being in the Hakel of Yahuwah. For the fruit of good labors is esteemed, and the root of wisdom shall never fail. As for the children of adulterers, they shall not come to their perfection, and the seed of an unrighteous bed shall be uprooted. For though they live long, yet they shall be regarded as naught, and their end shall be without esteem. Or, if they die quickly, they have no expectancy, nor comfort in the day of trial. For the end of the unrighteous generation is terrible. Chapter 4. It is better to have no children and to have virtue, for the remembrance of it is forever, because it is known with Elohim and with men. When it is present, men take example from it, and when it is gone, they desire it. It wears a crown and overcomes forever. Having overcome, striving for undefiled rewards. But the multiplying brood of the wicked shall not thrive, nor take deep root by illegitimate seed, nor lay any lasting foundation. For though they flourish as branches for a time, though standing, not last, they shall be shaken by the wind, and through the force of winds they shall be uprooted. The imperfect branches shall be broken off, their fruit unprofitable, not ripe to eat, also of no use. For children brought forth by lawless beds are witnesses of wickedness against their parents in their trial. But through the righteous be prevented by death, yet he shall be at rest. For esteemed age is not that which stands in length of time, nor measured by number of years, but wisdom is the gray hair unto men, and an unstained life is old age. He pleased Elohim and was loved by him, so that living among sinners he was translated. Indeed was he taken away speedily, lest wickedness should alter his understanding, or deceit deceive his being. For the enticement of greed obscures that which is honest, and the wandering of desire undermines the simple-minded. He, being made perfect in a short time, filled a long time, for his being pleased Yahuwah. Therefore he hastened to take away from among the wicked. This the people saw but did not understand, neither did they lay up this in their minds, that his favor and kindness is with his Kodashim, and that he shows respect to his chosen. Thus the righteous who are dead shall condemn the wicked who are living, and youth that is soon perfected. The many years and old age of the unrighteous, for they shall see the end of the wise, and shall not understand what Elohim in his counsel has decreed for him, and to what end Yahuwah has put him in safety. They shall see him and despise him, but Elohim shall laugh them to scorn, and from then on they shall be an insignificant carcass, and a reproach among the dead forever. For he shall tear them and throw them down headlong, that they shall be speechless. And he shall shake them from the foundation, and they shall be utterly laid waste, and be in sorrow, and their remembrance shall perish. And when they draw up the account of their sins, they shall come with fear, and their own wickednesses shall convict them to their face. Chapter 5. Then the righteous shall stand in great boldness before the face of those who have afflicted him, and taken no account of his works. When they see it, they shall be troubled with awesome fear, and shall be amazed at the mystery of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for. And they, repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit, shall say within themselves, This was he, whom we once mocked, in a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness, and his end to be without esteem. How is he numbered among the children of Elohim, and his lot is among the Kodashim? Therefore we have strayed from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness has not shined upon us, and the brilliance of righteousness did not rise upon us. We wearied ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. We have also gone through deserts where there was no path. But as for the way of Yahuwah, we have not known it. What has pride profited us, or what good has wealth with our boasting brought us? All these have passed away like a shadow, and as a rumor that has hastened away, and as a ship that passes over the waves of the water, which when it has passed, the trace of it is unable to be found, neither the pathway of the keel in the waves. Or as when a bird has flown through the air, there is no sign of its way to be found. But the air being lightly beaten with the stroke of its wings, and parted with the rapid noise and motion of them, is passed through. And after passing there is no sign of it to be found. Or as when an arrow is shot at a mark, it parts the air, which immediately comes together again. So one cannot know where it went through. Even so, we also, as soon as we were born, began to draw to our end, and had no sign of uprightness to show, but were consumed in our wickedness. For the expectancy of the unrighteous is like dust that is blown away with the wind, like a thin frost that is driven away with a storm, as the smoke which is dispersed here and there with a storm, and passes like the remembrance of a guest who stays but a day. But the righteous live forever, and even so, their reward is with Yahuwah, and the Most High looks after them. Therefore they shall receive an esteemed reign and a lovely crown from the hand of Yahuwah. For with his right hand he shall cover them, and with his arm he shall protect them. He should take his ardor as a complete armor, and make creation his weapon for the vengeance of his enemies. He shall put on righteousness as a breastplate, and true judgment in place of a helmet. He shall take Kodashah for an invincible shield. He shall sharpen his severe wrath as a sword, and the earth shall fight with him against the foolish. Then the thunderbolts aimed true shall go out, and from the clouds, as from a well-drawn bow, they shall fly to the mark. And hailstones filled with wrath shall be thrown as a stone out of bow, and the water of the sea shall rage against them, and the flood shall cruelly drown them. A mighty wind shall also stand up against them, and blow them away like a storm. So wickedness shall lay waste the whole earth, and evil works shall overthrow the thrones of the mighty. Chapter 6. Hear therefore, O sovereigns, and understand. Learn, you who are judges to the ends of the earth. Listen, you who rule the people, and boast in the multitude of nations. For power is given to you from Yahuwah, and rulership from the Most High, who shall try your works and search out your purposes. For being overseers of his reign, you have not ruled rightly, nor guarded the law, nor walked after the counsel of Elohim. He shall come upon you terribly and speedily, for a sharp judgment shall be to those who are in high places. For kindness shall soon pardon the harshest, but great men shall be greatly tortured. For he who is Adon over all shall show no partiality, neither shall he stand in awe of any man's greatness, for he has made the small and great, and is concerned for all alike. But a severe trial shall come upon the mighty. I speak unto you therefore, O sovereigns, that you may learn wisdom and not fall away. For those who guard Kodashah righteously shall be judged Kodesh, and those who have learned such matters shall find what to answer. Therefore lay your heart upon my words, desire them, and you shall be instructed. Wisdom is esteemed and never fades away. Also, she is easily seen by those who love her, and found by those who seek her. She prevents those who desire her, in making herself first known to them. Whoever seeks her early shall have no great hardship, for he shall find her sitting at her doors. Therefore to think upon her is perfection of wisdom, and whoever watches for her shall quickly be made without worry. For she goes about seeking those who are worthy of her, showing herself favorably to those in the way, and meets them in every thought. For the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline, and the concern of discipline is love. And love is the keeping of her laws, and guarding her laws in the assurance of incorruption. And incorruption makes us near to Elohim. Therefore the desire of wisdom leads to a reign. If your delight then is in thrones and scepters, O rulers of the people, esteem wisdom, that you may reign forever. As for wisdom, what she is, and how she came to be, I shall tell you, and shall not hide mysteries from you, but shall seek her out from the beginning of her creation, and bring the knowledge of her into light, and shall not pass over the truth, neither shall I go with consuming envy. For such a man shall have no fellowship with wisdom, but the multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world, and a wise sovereign is the upholding of the people. Receive therefore instruction through my words, and I shall do you good. Chapter 7. I myself am also a mortal man like all, and the offspring of he who was first made from the earth, and was fashioned in my mother's womb to be flesh in the time of 10 months, being compacted in blood of the seed of man, and the pleasure that came with sleep. And when I was born, I drew in the common air, and fell upon the earth, which is of like nature. And the first voice which I uttered was crying, as all others do. I was nursed with compassion, and wrapped in garments, for there is no sovereign that had any other beginning of birth. For all men have one entrance into life, and the same going out. Therefore I prayed, and understanding was given to me. I called upon Elohim, and the spirit of wisdom came to me. I preferred her before scepters and thrones, and deemed wealth not in comparison to her. Neither did I compare her to any precious stone, because all gold in respect to her is as little as sand, and silver is counted as clay before her. I loved her above health and loveliness, and chose to have her instead of light, for the light that comes from her never goes out. All good came to me together with her, and much wealth in her hands. And I rejoiced in them all, because wisdom goes before them, and I did not know that she was the mother of them. I learned diligently, and speak of her freely. I do not hide her wealth. For she is a treasure unto men that never fails, which those who use become the friends of Elohim, being commended for the gifts that come from learning. Elohim has granted me to speak as I would, and to conceive what is right for that which has been given to me, because it is he who leads into wisdom and directs the wise. For in his hand are both we and our words, all wisdom also, and knowledge of workmanship. For he has given me certain knowledge of that which exists, namely, to know how the world was made, and the operation of the elements, the beginning, ending, and middle of the times, the alterations of the turning of the sun, and the change of seasons, the circuits of years, and the positions of stars, the nature of living creatures, and the raging of wild beasts, the violence of winds, and the reasonings of men, the diversities of plants, and the power of roots, and all that which is either secret or revealed, these I know. For wisdom, which is the worker of all matters, taught me. For in her is an understanding spirit, Kodesh, unique, manifold, wise, lively, clear, undefiled, clean, strong, loving the good, alive, irresistible, ready to do good, kind to man, steadfast, sure, free from worry, all-powerful, overseeing all, and penetrating all spirits, most wise, understanding, and pure. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passes and penetrates all because of her purity. For she is the breath of the power of Elohim, and a pure force flowing from the esteem of the Almighty. Therefore, no uncleanness shall come upon her, for she is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted reflection of the power of Elohim, and an image of his goodness. And although one, she does all matters, and remaining in herself, she renews all matters. And entering into Kodesh beings of all generations, she makes them friends of Elohim and Nebiim. For Elohim loves none but he who dwells with wisdom. For she is more lovely than the sun, and above all the orders of stars. Compared with the light, she is found before it. For after this comes night, but evil shall not prevail against wisdom. Chapter 8. Wisdom reaches from one end to another mightily, and she rightly orders all matters. I loved her and sought her out from my youth. I desired to make her my bride, and I was a lover of her comeliness. She increases her nobility, for she accompanies Elohim. Indeed, the Adon of all loved her, for she knows the secrets of the knowledge of Elohim, and is a lover of his works. If wealth is a possession to be desired in this life, What is wealthier than wisdom, the doer of all? And if insight works, who of all that is a more skilled worker than she? And if a man loves righteousness, her works are good. For she teaches self-control and insight, righteousness and endurance, of which there is not more profitable than men may have in their life. If a man desires much experience, she knows the ways of old, and concludes rightly what is to come. She knows the wisdom of words and expounds hidden riddles. She foresees signs and wonders and the events of seasons and times. Therefore, I purpose to take her to me, to live with me, knowing that she would be a counselor of good and a comfort in worries and grief. Because of her, I have esteem among the multitude and esteem with the elders, although I am young. I shall be found alert in judgment, and shall be admired in the sight of great men. When I hold my tongue, they shall await me, and when I speak, they shall give good ear to me. If I talk much, they shall lay their hands upon their mouth, and by the means of her I shall obtain immortality, and leave an everlasting remembrance behind me to those that come after me. I shall put the people in order, and the nations shall be subject to me. Horrible tyrants shall be afraid when they hear of me. I shall be found good among the multitude, and courageous in battle. After I have come into my house, I shall find rest with her. For her ways are not bitter, and to live with her has no sorrow, but gladness and joy. Even when I thought on these matters within myself, and considered them in my heart, that to be allied with wisdom is immortality, and it is a great pleasure to have her friendship, and in the works of her hands are wealth without limit, and walking in her company insight, and in talking with her a good report. I went about seeking how to take her to me, for I was a lively child and had a good spirit. Indeed, being good, I came into a body undefiled. Nevertheless, when I perceived that I could not otherwise obtain her, except Elohim gave her me, and that was a point of wisdom also, to know whose gift she was, I prayed to Yahuwah and pleaded with him, and with my whole heart I said,